What's up, e-bikers? You ever think about buying an e-moped style e-bike? I'll give you 5 things to think about before you hit that buy button. Stay tuned. Alright guys, so in front of you there are 3 moped style e-bikes. We have the Bandit X-Trail, we have the EYS4, and the Rave Bullet GT. All 3 are basically e-moped style e-bikes. They look like kind of a motorcycle type of design, maybe with the exception of the Bandit here, which I think is more of a crossover. I'll explain why here. So if you look at that front half of the e-bike, where the battery is, that to me looks like more like a regular e-bike, while the second half of the bike with the rear shocks really give it that e-moped style look. And so I'm starting to consider that more of a crossover when it comes to the other 2 styles you see here, the S4 and the Rave Bullet GT. Very motorcycle-ish design, and something that appeals to a certain type of rider out there. Of the 3, I guess probably my favorite is the S4. It's the fastest. It's also it has the most height in terms of the seat height, and so I fit pretty comfortably on there. I also like the looks of it overall. I think it's the best looking of the 3. But they're all very unique frame styles that you really haven't seen too much of online, other than they're the most popular of these e-bike styles are the Super 73s probably. Then you have things like the Spark Bandit, which is only kind of one frame style. That's more of a true electric moped, if you will. It goes up to 40 miles an hour, the Spark does. While these all here basically go 28 to 30 as the top speeds. So they're definitely much more of a e-bike style e-moped. So number 1 thing you should know about before buying an e-moped style is the seat height. Of these 3, only the Bandit has an adjustable seat height, and right now it's sitting at about 38 inches off the ground because I'm a 6-footer. The other 2, that's a 35-inch seat height, minimum seat height, and the Rave is the shortest. It's at 33 inches there. There's a little bit of a rise in the back there, but so these bikes are best for short people. If you're 5'8" and under, that's who would fit most comfortably on these e-bikes. As a tall person, I can't get pedal extension on these things, so I'm sitting there kind of with my knees towards my stomach, and it's just not very comfortable in terms of riding experience, which is why when I ride the S4, I really just like to just throttle it only, because I don't want to move my legs because it's so uncomfortable sitting there. So that's the first thing you should know about, is better off for short riders. If you're over 6 foot, I would look at the Bandit here because it's adjustable, and that's the only e-bike I've ever seen that has an adjustable seat like that on an e-moped style frame. So I wish there were more of these types of seats out there, but this Rave one is actually the most comfortable because it's the largest. I mean, this is a motorcycle seat, and this thing must be almost 2 feet long from front to back, and it just widens out here at the end. This is really comfortable. I wish I had this on the Bandit, or I wish this was taller anyway. If this set up to like 35 inches, I think it'd be better for me. But yeah, that's the first thing to know about these e-bikes. It's definitely for shorter guys out there, so keep that in mind. All right, number 2 things you know about these e-bikes is about the speeds, because they all can vary. And if you're buying an e-bike like this, you're going to want to have full throttle, meaning you can get to 28 on the throttle alone, in addition to pedaling. Some of these e-bikes do that, some don't. So the Bandit here, the white one, the Bandit only goes up to 20 miles an hour on the throttle, so it's much more of a traditional e-bike that way, and it goes 28 with pedaling. The S4, on the other hand, gives you full throttle to the full speed, which is 28 miles an hour, actually maybe closer to 30. I've gotten 30 out of it on some flats. And the Rave Bullet GT also with the throttle, it gets to 28. I think if you have the Bullet GTX with the dual battery, you can get even faster than that, up to 31 according to the company. So speed matters, right, with these e-bikes. You want these to go fast because they look like they have to go fast. And if they don't, like with this Bandit over here, it's a little bit less fun experience, I think, overall. So check out the speeds on these e-bikes before you buy them, and make sure you can throttle up to top speed, because you're going to want to do throttle only on these e-bikes for the most part, in my opinion. All right, let's talk about weight, because these are the heaviest e-bikes on the market, essentially. Basically from 75 to 95 pounds they come in terms of the different e-bikes out there. Of the three here, we have a 77-pound bike, we have a 70-pound bike, and then it's about 85, I think, on the Bullet GT. So the weights vary widely. I really like the fact that the S4 comes in, it's only 70 pounds. It's got a pretty minimalist frame on there, so I think that's why. Basically just a bunch of steel tubes there on the frame. And so, but weight matters, so if that's important to you, in terms of carrying it, putting it on a hitch rack, you should know about that stuff. So again, these are heavier e-bikes and they tend to come that way. Okay, before you buy one of these e-bikes, you want to look at the battery size. And you don't want to get the biggest battery you can, again, because these e-bikes are heavy, plus you want to go fast on these things usually. So if you're going to throttle only, you need a big battery. Now, of the three here, the Bandit here is the smallest one. That's a 14 amp hour down there in that down tube. That's pretty small for an e-bike of this type, that size. I would love to see at least a 20 amp hour, which is what these guys have here. Actually, the S4 has a 25 amp hour battery. It's the biggest of the bunch here, and that one has a 20 amp hour battery. So 20 amp hour is sort of the minimum battery you're going to want to get if you do buy one of these e-bikes. That's going to get you around 25 to 30 miles of range using throttle only, just depending on your weight, depending on how heavy the bike is, and some other factors. So keep that in mind. Get the biggest battery you can, and to me, 20 amp hours minimum if you're going to buy one of these. And number 5, which is probably something to mention here, is basically if you ride this on a bike trail, you're going to get stares, maybe get some people yelling out at you, hey, you can't ride that on here. And that's because these things look like motorcycles, especially this Rave here, this Rave Bullet GT. So expect that if you're going to ride these on any kind of bike trails around other e-bikers, other regular bikers, they may look at you a little funny because you're riding this thing. So I tend to ride these things on the street only. I don't tend to take them on the trails because of that. I don't think they're best used for trails anyway, because on trails you have to go slower, and with these e-bikes you want to go fast. So stick to the roads only. You'll get you'll have more fun that way, and you'll get less stares and less complaints around other types of bikes. All right, guys, those are my 5 tips before you buy an e-moped style e-bike. I'd love to hear what you guys think as well. So what else did I fail to mention? Throw them in the comments there and help out the other viewers before they go buy one of these things and get on the road. So again, check out Super 73s. They're also a really good brand for this type of style. Spark Cycle works as well if you really want to go fast. They've got those 40-mile-an-hour ones. The other ones I'll mention are the C3 Astrum, and the Ride One Up Rev, I think, just came out as well. Another e-moped style you want to look at. All those go to 28 miles per hour. So anyway, that's it for now. Hit that subscribe button. See you next time on Crisscrossed. Thanks for watching.